Welcome to the Tale Slate. I'm Ben Stacey, and I'm here with Michael Oakes, and we are talking Game of Thrones. We have 3 episodes to get through. We're talking episode 6, episode 7, and episode 8. This season has been amazing. It's, well, I guess one of the seasons where you really can't predict what's going on.
No.
And it's been exciting and amazing and fantastic and all that stuff. So we'll just go through each episode. We'll touch on each of the main points and then discuss what we really enjoyed or what we thought was very important. Mm-hmm. So first of all, episode 6 picks up pretty much right after that dramatic, tear-jerking the door where we discover how Hodor became Hodor. And it opens, episode 6 opens with Meera and Bran continuing their escape. Mm-hmm. And while they're doing that, he's having a bunch of visions, including seeing the Mad King, and including seeing the Mad King saying, burn them all, using the green fire. The dead attack, and then they're saved by somebody. We don't discover who he is until a bit later, but it is Uncle Benjen. Come back.
I think another name is Cold Hands.
In the book,
yes.
It's called that. Yeah, in this they skipped that and just went straight to let you know who he is. Uncle Benjen back, and he apparently had been kind of killed by a White Walker, and the Children of the Forest brought him back by plunging a dagger of the dragon glass into his heart.
Which is interesting.
So he's half alive, half dead. Yeah. But I guess he's on the good side.
You'd think he'd be a White Walker at that point, or like a form of the White Walkers.
Perhaps. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, he's back. Just wanted to touch on a couple of things in the vision, particularly the part where he saw the Mad King with the fire.
Right, burn them all.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it might be. I don't think they're going to do the same thing as what they did with Hodor. I think it might be a possibility, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like there's just.
Do you think it's just a flashback so we can see what happened, or do you think it's a premonition of things to come?
Oh, I think it's premonition of what's to come, but I don't think obviously it's going to be like the people who are alive, not the Mad King. Yeah. Because as we'll again discuss later, there's a certain situation where like Cersei has
heard some rumors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. Then we get a nice scene with Gilly and Sam. They go to Sam's family home, welcomed very nicely by his mother and sister, and they welcome Gilly in, no problem, give her a dress to wear. Now, then they go to have dinner with his father.
Oh, that dad is a bastard. Like a big bastard. I was a little bit conflicted by this one because he's both, Sam in this case, is both like brave and not. Yeah. But only he's only brave when he's not in front of his father, because he straight up takes that sword afterwards.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But when he's at dinner, he just nothing.
So his father berates him for not being this big, man basically, and then also finds out that Gilly is a wildling. Yeah.
When Gilly starts yapping her.
Gilly stands up for Sam and starts talking about how he saved her and killed a White Walker and all this. On their way down to the wall, and he's like, down to the wall, what do you mean? Because he hates wildlings, absolutely hates wildlings. And so they end up leaving, which was good. Sam decides to take Gilly and leave.
And the sword, which is
he takes the sword, his family sword, which is Valyrian steel.
Yes.
Which
is important.
Very handy.
Yeah, exactly. Now that he's killed one White Walker, he might be able to kill another one.
Yep, exactly. We also have scenes in King's Landing. We have King Tommen talking with the High Sparrow. He goes to see Marjorie, and she seems to be taken by the High Sparrow. So they have a little chat, which leads to, is that at the end of this episode?
I think it was about the end of that one.
Or was that in...
Actually, I think it was the same episode.
Is it in that one? It must be.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
that's right. The Tyrell army comes in to help with Cersei's, or the Lannister army, and they want to prevent Marjorie from having to do the Walk of Shame. And suddenly she doesn't have to, because Marjorie and Tommen are seemingly on side with the Faith Militant.
So this was the first of my correct predictions, because I remember a few episodes I was going I think we were discussing what was going to happen, and somebody was like, there's going to be a big ass battle and stuff, and there's going to be fighting, and somebody's probably going to try to kill the sparrow. And I was like, I bet he's going to get away with it somehow. He's going to do something that he's going to get away with, and damn, right there.
But has he? Is it in this particular episode that we find out?
Oh,
no,
right.
It's later on we
Yes.
find out. Okay, we'll talk about that episode 7 in a second.
Well, not necessarily, because while there is that part we were going to talk about, Tommen is under his control now.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
It's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell.
I think Marjorie, maybe not. Tommen,
Maybe.
more than likely.
Okay. Also, very important stuff. We have Arya told to assassinate the actress. She doesn't. And
Finally, that rebellion you were talking about, you wanted to see coming to fruition.
Yeah. What else we have happening in that episode? Walder Frey tells his men to take back Riverrun from the Blackfish, sends them with Lord Edmure as their captive.
We really see how incompetent the Freys
The Freys
are.
are, yeah. It was only when, I think that's in the next episode, isn't it? Or is it in the same episode? Anyway, a lot happens. Oh, we also, at the end of episode 6, have Dany leading the Dothraki horde on the march and finds Drogon, gives this big speech, and flies off. So that was episode 6.
I think she's finally under control of at least one dragon. I think she's finally getting the understanding of how to use them.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Now, episode 7, one of my favorite episodes for a whole bunch of reasons. First is it's the first episode in Game of Thrones to have a cold open. They don't start with the opening credits. They go straight into this really pleasant scene, a nice scenic place. There's villagers building a temple of some kind.
It was a sept, for those 7.
Yeah, and
seven.
it was had nice music, peaceful, very un-Game of Thrones-like. It was a place that I would love to live. It's
And
like, wow.
we soon discover why they were doing that like that.
But we see some people carrying big logs to build this, and one guy's carrying one big log on his own, drops it down, and bam, it's the
there's
Hound.
Yeah.
Now, I think it may have been in our last episode.
Yeah.
I was sure we would not see him. We were saying, do you think he could be
I
alive?
was the one that was saying we're not going to see him again, because
Really?
I was like absolutely
Well, I was
sure.
pretty sure he was dead for sure.
I don't
too.
know. I'm pretty sure you were
No,
saying
no, it
you
must
were
have
like you were like we didn't actually see him die, so he might come back.
No, I figured he was dead. I figured he's dead. No problem. But anyway, he's back. Yoo-hoo! I love the Hound. So he's helping build the tempo with Ian McShane.
Oh yeah, well I mean the only reason I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of on the fence about the Hound, but the reason I'm glad he's back is because eventually there's gonna be, I hope, a showdown between the Hound and his brother.
Perhaps.
That'll be cool.
So he's helping build that. Unfortunately, this group of people is approached by some members of the Brotherhood without banners. They request food and whatever they want and go off, but then come back.
Now it's interesting actually that they didn't actually say they were the Brotherhood without banners. They initially they didn't say who they were at all. It was actually I can't remember his name, but the other guy that was working on the set, the big leader guy, he actually noted, or sorry, the Hound noted that they were Red priests, or rather like part of the.
But yeah,
like they were following that, so
Yeah.
like they didn't even know that they were the Brotherhood without banners at that point. They just knew that they were following that god.
it's funny, we knew somehow. Anyway, but they come back and end up killing the entire village. Well, the Hound is off chopping wood, and then of course the Hound, that episode ends with this great scene where he picks up his axe and goes walking off.
After he slaughters it. Or no,
Well,
sorry, he doesn't even
he
slaughter
just
anybody,
goes
yeah.
off. He's out for blood.
Yeah.
So glad the Hound was back. In episode 7 also we had Marjorie and the High Sparrow. This is where he's encouraging to make babies with the king. He even threatens her grandmother. But this is the scene where Marjorie talks to her grandmother, and she's telling her to go home, and she's like, "No, I'm not going home. I'm not leaving you. You know, don't listen to these people." And she's playing along and hands her a piece of paper with a rose on it, implying that she's still on her side.
She's still
and she's
yeah.
got a plan. So that's why I think Tomlin is just playing. He's under Marjorie's control. I'd
She's
say.
under, yes, that's what I think the difference is, though. I don't think that Tommen knows who's really in control, because I know that Marjorie is in control of Tommen, and I know that the High Sparrow thinks he's in control of Marjorie.
But isn't, I don't think.
Yes, but that's the key difference, though, because I think that for now, technically, this High Sparrow is in control of Tommen, but only because...
Marjorie's told him.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I just thought of it now, actually. Perhaps Marjorie's playing a longer game here, because she doesn't like Cersei.
No.
If she can use the High Sparrow to get rid of Cersei, then replace the High Sparrow with herself, and
Yeah,
that would
she's
be a great situation
she's
for
showing
her.
herself as a very competent player in the Game of Thrones here.
Yeah.
Like, if it weren't for the fact that I have suspicions of other people being the end game for the throne, I would actually, because of her skills, I think she might end up on there. Like, she's, one of the top people for how capable they are.
We also have Jon and Sansa. They're convincing the wildlings to help fight for Winterfell.
As they have done like 3 or 4 billion times already.
They go to, they get help from the Mormonts. Lady Mormont of Bear Island gives her 62 troops.
Was it 62?
62.
I thought it was like 38. Oh.
No, 62. Mostly because Davos convinces her that would be a good idea. We also have Jaime having a parlay with Blackfish because Jaime and Bronn arrive with the Lannister army at River
Yes,
Run.
they finally do that. I want to quickly note on that last one with the Mormonts. It's kind of a note that that's kind of showing how incompetent, or not how incompetent, how discredited that family is.
The Starks?
The Starks are now. Like, there's no credit behind their name anymore.
Well, she referred to her as Yara Bolton and
Snow.
Lannister.
Yeah.
No, and a Lannister.
Oh.
Because she was married to Tyrion.
Yeah, she is, and then
and then I'm always a
Jon
Stark.
Snow is a Snow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
So like they're gonna have to work to get their name back.
Yeah.
Very
Now
hard.
Sansa sent a letter. She sent a letter to who?
I think it was the.
Was it to the Blackfish
Littlefinger, no?
or to Littlefinger?
It was Littlefinger.
Because in the next episode, we have Brienne arrive with a
note.
letter for Blackfish.
That might have
saying,
been it.
If you come, however, I noticed they're on different pieces of paper. The one we see sent with a raven is on a longer piece of paper, folded over with a thing. This was like a full sheet of paper that he was reading from.
Yeah.
Either that's a prop mistake, or yes, maybe she did send one to Littlefinger as well.
I think she might have done it to Littlefinger.
Possibly. Yeah. So I'm not totally sure. I guess we'll find out in the next one.
Because I think she's with Brienne, right, at the castle. So it's not like she really did. She need a raven to do that, to send a letter? Because
if she was sending one to Littlefinger, perhaps.
Yes, but that's what I mean.
No,
like
she sent Brienne with the letter to Blackfish.
By hand, though, so she wouldn't have needed a raven.
Exactly.
So it must have been something
must
different.
Have been, yeah. Very important thing happens at the end of episode 7. She hasn't killed the actress. She's on her way. She wants to get back to Westeros. Books passage to Westeros. Feeling pretty confident, and then all of a sudden, this old lady, which turns out to be the waif, stabs her multiple times in the gut.
So how bad of a killer is the waif, honestly? Like, I know that...
Okay, I suspect the waif could have killed her quickly and painlessly.
Yes.
Like, what's the guy's name?
I don't know.
They don't have any names. They're no one. But anyway, the main guy. Perhaps the waif wanted her to suffer.
I think she did, but that's the problem. Is she supposed to be...
Yeah, but
faceless?
This is personal for her, and you shouldn't be personal.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So how, like, seriously, like, I know she... Usually gut stabs are very bad. Like, they are a very, very slow and painful death.
Yeah.
That's why she did it. She knew she was going to, or she suspected she was going to die of those, and she wanted her to suffer for a long time, but she's not supposed to be anybody, so she made it personal. So even if she had gotten away with it, I really wonder how the main head of the church would have reacted.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we never will.
So it ends with Arya, walking through the streets bleeding, looking for help. Oh, we also had quickly Theon and Yara, his sister. They are at a brothel. She's encouraging Theon to remember that he's Ironborn, and
then she goes off with a woman.
Yeah,
that was hot.
Now we have episode 8. Arya gets help from the actress. She patches her up. Now, I've heard a lot of people complain that she seems to be get better pretty quickly. No, she doesn't. She's bleeding like crazy towards the end of this episode.
Yeah,
as well.
she doesn't heal. She just kind of...
She is healed a little bit. She's starting to get better. Anyway, the Hound finds a few of the Brotherhood responsible, kills them quite impressively.
That was fun. That last one especially, where he just,
axe to the groin.
Oh, you die like crap.
Yeah, you're shit at dying.
Yeah.
Varys left Marine for Westeros to try and get some ships. Cersei faces Lancel with the Faith and with the Mountain. That's an awesome scene as well.
Yeah.
It's like tell your man to step aside or there will be violence. And that's that great line.
Yeah, that's been
and
mounting for
actually,
a while.
Lena Headey is amazing as Cersei. It's such an understated performance, but you can tell exactly what she's thinking. I mean, I choose violence. And then, the mountain, the guy attacks the mountain.
She's playing it really smart because she's not telling the mountain to go and attack them. She's just saying, if you try to go after me, whoever's going is going to die. And then he makes a really big spectacle of it, right?
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was.
Strokes him, throws him down, grabs his head.
I thought he was just going to let him go for a second there, and then all of a sudden, nope.
Rips his head off with his bare hands and tosses it to the ground.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's a brutality you expect of the mountain, but it's not in a way, it's not an angry brutality, which is different from what he normally does. So he's obviously, his personality's changed quite a bit.
Yeah, and then Cersei has this, it's again very subtle, this sort of smile on her face. She enjoyed that.
She has power again, which is one thing she actually lost a lot of.
Yeah. What else is important in episode 8? Of course, Brienne arrives at River Run, delivers a note to the Blackfish, asking him to bring the army to help Sansa, but he won't leave. Yeah,
and this was actually very interesting because Brienne, the Blackfish, and Jaime all seem to have a very, very close connection at this point. Like it's very interesting, the change in dynamic, because usually with the Game of Thrones you're seeing like people that are at odds, or they're pretending to be friends and then they're at odds, you know, like the red wedding and such.
Yeah.
But you never ever see a situation where it can go downhill very easily, and it doesn't. Like it actually starts to be a little bit more trustworthy because they actually see the trust going between them. The only reason that it didn't work out was because Blackfish wasn't willing to give up the castle. Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And then, of course, in the end, Lord Edmure is let back in. Jaime sends him in. Says, listen, you go in there to save. There's a good scene between the two of them as well. Edmure makes the men stand down. The Blackfish is killed. Brienne and Pod leave by boat. And there's a nice scene where Jaime sees her leaving and waves.
Yeah. I don't know what would have happened if they had stayed. Because honestly, I don't think they would have been taken prisoner because they weren't.
Probably not. They had stood down. Yeah. So, but yeah, she had said, you know, if we end up fighting, you know, I'm going to have to fight against you.
So they found the one way that they actually could get out of there alive, all of them, except for the Blackfish, obviously.
Yeah. But back in Marine, we have Tyrion telling jokes with Missandei and Grey Worm. Pretty good scene. But then we discover that Marine is now under attack from the sea. From the old masters.
That confused the heck out of me in the beginning because, honest to God, when I saw that there were boats out there, I was like,
thinking it was iron.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought it was for like a split second. Then all of a sudden they got like the trebuchets going and like they were like the masters have come back. I was like, okay.
And of course that ends at nighttime. You've seen fire and stuff being thrown at them, and then suddenly you hear this thing on top of the pyramid. They don't know what it is. Of course, it's
dragon.
Dany has arrived. She's back.
That was exciting.
Pissed. She looked a little annoyed that the city was.
Yep. And then the dragon goes off towards the sea.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out. We probably won't find out until the next episode, I bet you. 'Cause this next one is gonna be all about the Battle of the Bastards.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. Let's see what else was of vital importance in this. The Hound finds the others responsible, the head guy of the Brotherhood that was killed his village.
And then they partner with who gets killed.
And the other Brotherhood are there. What's his name? The guy from season, 2? Wasn't it 2 or 3?
I don't remember the name of them.
The guy who the Hound killed and was brought back to life.
I killed you once, I can do it again.
Yeah, they're hanging them because they're dragging the Brotherhood's name through the mud. Yeah. And he's like, well, I want them. And you can have one. I want 2.
Yeah, they're bartering with their bloody lives. Who wants to kill them?
He wants to kill them with an axe, and then no, just hang him.
Yeah.
Oh, can I have a hand?
I think he got what he wanted anyways, because the middle guy, he suffered. You could see he was not dying quick.
And he stole his boots too as he was dying. So it seems that they're going to work together, the Brotherhood and the Hound, at least for a little while. He's sort of joined them. Then the most important part of this episode, I think, is the very end. The waif finds Arya again. There's this huge chase through the streets. That was a pretty amazing chase. It was one of those chases where you could feel the pain, you could feel the stakes. Arya's bleeding all over the place because she's...
she can't keep up the chase because she's going to bleed out. She can't stop and fight. Usually you'd think not because, she's, again, bleeding out.
Now this is important. I thought, because she kept touching the wall and leaving blood, I thought, don't do that. She's going to find you. But that was her plan.
Yeah.
she led her to where she had been staying in this dark hole, basically, with one candle, and the waif comes in, and she's got needle now, Arya does, and then Arya stands up and chops the candle, and it goes pitch black.
Yeah, and then we find out, was that the episode where
Well,
we saw the face?
Yes, but first of all, she has an advantage in pitch dark because she's been trained blind.
Now, you'd think that the waif would have that training too.
It depends. Now, this makes me think that whatever his name is, the main guy. I mean, if the waif had killed her, that would have been fine. He would have been okay with that. But I suspect because he made her blind. Perhaps he was doing it for a reason.
To give her an advantage against the waif.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, as again the end of the episode entails, that was a test for her. It was kind of like whoever really surfaced at the end would become the faceless man at that point.
So then, of course, it cuts to he's walking through seeing the faces, and we find the waif's face on a thing. Arya's there with Needle, and she's like, "You told her to kill me," and he's like, "Yes," and then he's like, "Finally, a girl is no one." And then the best line in the whole thing, a girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
I'm not sure if he was proud or
it was tough
upset.
to read him.
It was
like,
really,
it was a bit
initially
of like,
he was
okay,
happy.
and then maybe some
Yeah,
pride there.
a little
like,
recognition there.
So I don't know, I really don't know if he was trying to train her to be no one or to be Arya Stark but with the skills, or would have been happy with either outcome.
I think he was happy with either outcome, but I don't think he saw it becoming her going back to becoming Arya of Stark. I think that he initially thought she was going to be a faceless man, like the best one he's ever had, sort of thing. Like very proud, and then all of a sudden she's taking a bold step. Like, I want to say this is very bold because, like he said, if she starts the training, she's not leaving it.
Yeah.
Right. So she's obviously taking a very, very dangerous step, but a very bold one to leave. So I think he might be actually a little bit proud with that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where it ended off. And right now, as we're recording this, we're about to miss the next one. So we got to get this done so we can watch the Battle of the Bastards. We'll be back doing another review of the final 2 episodes of season 6 of Game of Thrones. It's been an amazing season, and I look forward to discussing.
I'm going to hate the time between seasons.
The time between is going to suck, yeah. But we'll get a chance to talk about it, and then maybe we'll have some more discussions in depth about where we think things are going, and so on. So there you have it, Game of Thrones, episodes 6 to 8.